Is it working? Oh, yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to Wednesday's live here on YouTube. As always, any questions you guys have or similar, let me know, and I'll be happy to help if I can, and we can figure out whatever your doubts could be. Seems that I'm alone for now, so I'm gonna give it a minute, and meanwhile, see if I can open some questions I had previously today. I was having a question from Hogarth, which meets us here sometimes. He's been getting some mixed results with his developer, black and white developer, and he wanted to change to HC110 and didn't know if it was okay to do H or B or any delusion, as there's so much information out there. Let me see. I'm trying to find, there's a website with like all information about the HC110. It's like the unofficial resource page. Last time it was copyrighted was 2012. So take this, with a pinch of salt, as it's probably maybe a little old. Talks about different concentrates from being to Europe to the US and stuff like that. I think there's no more of that. At least I've never had a problem with that. I use B as 131 and my syrup comes in 131. Here it says B in European is 19. So that's not happening anymore. But that's a good starting point. So let me just share that, guys, on the description or live chat, which is covingtoninnovations.com. Joey, hey Nico, did you see the Big Head Taco video with the new Mint Instax rangefinder? I haven't watched it. Kind of been a little crazy busy and out of energy lately. So had a workshop on Sunday and I just kind of been dragging myself through the week. That's why there's no news yesterday. So sorry for that, guys. Trying to reorganize my schedule again, as every school year is different and crazy. But no, I have seen some stories on Instagram talking about it. So that would be pretty cool. The Mint is making an Instax rangefinder, as I think the lack of anything fully manual for Instax film sometimes is a little annoying. I know there's maybe a few things from lomography, and maybe the Mint camera lets you do a lot of manual. I've never used it, so I can't say. But yeah, I haven't seen it. Let's see, Mint Instax camera. Let's see what they say here. If there's any kind of, there's probably no information on their website. And no, for now you just have the TLR. But yeah, hopefully I'll have a look and I'll feature that in the news. Might do a wrap up of the news next week. It's been around 3 weeks and I think there'll be enough. I did record last week's but never got to edit it. And hopefully I'll get to it next week, as this weekend I'm got more time. I will be printing in the darkroom this weekend for the first time since I finished the darkroom. And I will be doing the rewards for the Kickstarter. So Joey and others that supported me will be getting that soon. Might try to also work on editing the video during the weekend, as I'm going to be alone at home, and see if I can publish as soon as possible. So far, the next plan for the next trip is still in, let's say, pause, as I finish the editing and how do you say it, the rewards. and I have had no news back from the company, as they were going to get back to me, and they're not so far. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I was talking, yeah, about HC110. That's the information you guys can look at. Has a bunch of information. My favorite thing about HC110 is the fact that it's a syrup, so you can mix it straight away when you need it. I use it as a one shot, so I mix what I need and I dump it out after that first development. So I usually do 1 liter, 131. I use 31.25 milliliters if I'm not wrong. And yeah, it's been pretty great. We'll see how Hogarth does. Azriel, I would love to hear some tips on using Kickstarter. Well, Azriel, I happily would tell you my experience on using Kickstarter, but it was, I mean, I don't know if it was a matter of I did it on the right time, or I have an amazing audience, which I do think I have a great audience in terms of support. I just decided, thanks to a live stream like this, that I wanted to start this photo series. I've had it in my head already for a long time. I did go to Photokina and did the interviews. I'll show you guys that one day. It'll be funny to see Nico's screw-ups. I can make a long video on that. And basically, I decided to do the Kickstarter. First thing is thinking about your campaign, thinking about how you want to give back, because it depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it. I wanted to make a Kickstarter because I needed the funds to do the trip. Not that I couldn't pay it off myself. It was a matter of I wanted to know if there was interest in this series and if that could be funded by people that wanted to watch it, supporters, subscribers, and such. So, and if I paid it for myself, I would probably do one trip and that would be the end of it, because I probably wouldn't make any money back in terms of justifying the next trip. So I decided to do Kickstarter. I decided I wanted to do the documentary on Intrepid, and I wanted it to be free to everyone. So the way that I could make people maybe want to support the project, but not only give them a video that would be free, because I always feel like, you know, if you're going to get it for free, a lot of people are going to think, oh, why would I support anyone if it's going to be free either way? So I thought, why not give them something? So I decided to give them prints, and I decided to do the prints of shots that I would take throughout the trip. So that's how I thought it out. The price for the rewards and such were pretty much thought out, so I could pay for shipping, developing the film, the paper, and everything, and leave me some money for the trip. The amount I asked, I wanted it to be as close as what I thought the budget would be to travel. My plan was never to make, let's say, a living off a trip or a Kickstarter or start a company or anything like that, or a production line like some Kickstarters are for products, but to enable the trip and at no cost, or possibly as low cost for my own self. And I think I managed that. I think I flew the cheapest airline. I rented an Airbnb, which was pretty much the cheapest thing I could find. I ate whatever I could find out there, nothing fancy-wancy or anything like that. I've traveled a lot, so I just try to, you know, be as efficient. I did rent a car because I checked and it was pretty cheap. I think I paid like 80 euros for the 3 or 4 days. So that turned out to be pretty cheap. I was going to Uber over to Intrepid, but then all the equipment was a mess. And yeah, basically that's what I did. Campaign went really well. People supported me straight away. Can't complain about that. I didn't want to bug people too much. So the moment I hit my goal, I just kept it like that. I made a stretch goal just for, you know, people do that, but didn't mean to be like eager for more. I was happy with the support I got, and that's what I wanted. The worst part about it has been the fact on my side, I went, I recorded, I did everything, I shot, and then I came back and I totally underestimated or overestimated my approach on timing. I feel like everyone does that on Kickstarter. You think you're going to take 2 months and you take a year. Hopefully I won't take a year. I'm there editing. I've had storage problems with my hard drives, basically giving up on me. There's a backup of every video I did, so no worries on that. There's like 3 or 4 different hard drives have the raw video. I upgraded the editing program. Darkroom's been finishing and getting ready. Things are developed, and now this weekend I think I'm ready to do the rewards, the physical rewards. And meanwhile, I'm editing. So yeah, Kickstarter is, I think, great. And we'll go back to it if I do another project similar to this. But yeah, that's basically how I was trying to do that. Oh, I'm on the wrong guy. Okay. Sorry, guys. I totally opened the wrong live stream. Sorry. Let me just go over there and say, can I open my other live stream? I was wondering, I was like, why isn't, but usually a bit more people here. Sorry, guys. I'll change this to the right live stream. Sorry. Thank you. Hi, Leighton. How says your live stream in the 38. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. Oh, yeah, please, Spain, if you can write something. I don't seem to be able to go there at the very moment. Creator Studio. I don't know how I can do that, maybe. Sharing this. It's on the main page, probably. Now you have the right one. Live stream. So sorry, guys. This is me being tired on a Wednesday. Okay, yeah. I can't go to number 38 at all. 37, sorry, guys. So yeah, that's my approach on the Kickstarter thing. Azrael, if you have any other questions, you can ask me here or through Instagram or whatever you feel like. I'll be happy to answer. But yeah, it's been a good experience, and only 2 waiting on that stream, and I'm one of them. Okay, that's good. The experience being good on Kickstarter, and I have to say support has been amazing. And now it's on my side to finish the whole campaign. So yeah, the rewards will be hopefully printed during this weekend, and I'll get back to you guys. For those wondering, the rewards are physical prints, black and white prints, different sizes or all sizes. I think Hao, if I'm not wrong, got all the sizes, so he'll get a little bonus pack with a bit of everything. I will be printing probably every single shot I took in maybe different sizes to make it available if someone wants to support the next trip. But I'll see if I put them on an online store or not. I don't know yet. I'm not sure about how to approach that. I don't know how they're going to look either. I think the shots are not, I mean, they have more of a sentimental value and a behind the scenes of the documentary more than being the best shots I've ever taken. I really didn't realize how busy I would be recording. And I took the shots, but not as many as I wanted. How also knowing that How's very keen on architecture, and I am too. I think that's how we found each other probably. And I'm starting a new little adventure on architecture. Finally going to try to push myself to get out there and shoot more. So that will be fun, sharing that through YouTube and see how many failed attempts I've had of getting into architecture photography throughout the years, equipments I've considered or I bought or I've sold. But yeah, hopefully that will start soon, as I think I will be able to record a quick something this weekend. Spain, question. Is it true that 6x7 rangefinders like Mamiya can shoot handheld down to 1/15 of a second? Well, Spain, the thing is, when you're shooting 6x7 or rangefinders, medium formats, They're mostly leaf shutters, and what I mean by leaf shutter is like this is not a Leica, but this is a Zeiss icon, and the shutter is on the body. Okay, so it will vibrate a little bit. When there's a mirror, like a SLR, DSLR, that mirror will shake a little bit. You got the Pentax with the 6x7 mirror, that will shake a little bit too, a bit more. Hasselblads, Bronicas, and all that. But when you're shooting a leaf shutter, when the shutter is in the lens, it will always be closed, and it will only open for the shot. So it will just do a little click, and that will be it. Actually, in the Mamiya 7, in the Fuji 690, GW690, and similar cameras, when you actually take a shot, most of the times you're not sure if you're taking in the shot or not. So they're extremely quiet, way more quiet than a Leica, in my opinion. Actually, the Fuji is pretty loud, but the Mamiya 7 is pretty quiet. And so yeah, that makes the camera not vibrate as much. And 1/15 of a second is doable. I've done 1/30th on a Pentax, and I've been okay. I wouldn't play around at 1/30 all day, but you can. As always, good approach is to keep your strap maybe on your elbow and keep like a little tension to it, or put it to your neck. There's actually a shoelace. Sorry, guys. I'm not very fancy with that. You can keep it like that, push it away from you so you keep it kind of steady for the 1/15th. Some people like leaning against something if you can. Some people like, yeah, just things like that. You can put it on a table, stuff like this, things like that. So yeah, leaf shutters will vibrate way less. So that's how it is. Leighton says, I was about to say leaf shutters versus focal plane shutters. A leaf shutter only takes a fraction of the time to take an exposure. A focal plane shutter takes a long time to travel over the frame. There you go. Leighton has the proper definition. But yeah, the leaf shutter basically is always closed, and when you shoot, it just does a little tap. Actually, I don't have a large format lens here. No. The ones I have are not a good representation. But yeah, I'll make a little video so you can see it. I don't have a Mamiya 7 anymore, but if I get my hands on something like a leaf shutter, actually all large format shutters are kind of leaf shutters, sort of, because they do kind of vibrate a bit more. But I'll show you guys. Let's see. Cynical frequency, analog adventure. I have taken sharp snaps with a Fuji GF 670 Bessa handheld 1/15. That's a 6x7 camera with a leaf shutter. Joseph Delgadillo, I've only shot half a second, 1 second handheld and gone in sharp on my Leica. And the Mamiya is more steady, so low light is no problem. Yeah, I've never tested. Actually, I probably have shot half a second, but I can't remember or recall what shots were taken at that speed with a 35 rangefinder. But yeah, it should be good. Leighton says shutter speed is not the time it takes to make an higher exposure. I know that is a little odd on a focal plane shutter. Yeah, it is a little odd on the focal plane because they kind of like travel. That's a good way to see it on the wide looks. The wide looks camera, you shoot at 1/15 of a second. And if you guys want to see any examples of the wide looks shots, Jeff Bridges, the actor, shoots with it and has a website with awesome shots. He even has a book, which is highly recommendable. The 1/15 of a second, which you would think is actually not that slow, it actually moves at 1/15 to expose all the film at 1/15 of a second. So it actually, from when you hit the shutter till when it finishes, it takes like 1.5 seconds. It's kind of like really long, because it's like a focal plane shutter, which kind of like just goes slowly with a little slit exposing that film on the little curve. So that's probably like the craziest way to kind of see it, but it's pretty fun. I should do some more videos on that wide looks and actually shoot it more. Cynical frequency also, hi guy. Do you have any experiences with the Apple Radagon N enlarging lens? No experience with it. I don't think I have that one. And I say that one is because I have a few lenses, but I'm not so keen of which ones I have so far. I probably will get more into it as my darkroom is pretty definite, like, you know, finished, and hopefully will be like that for years to come. I'm needing lenses for my 8x10 because I have a pretty okay-ish one. And I will look. I think someone does have in my studio has the Apple Radagon N enlarging lens. Is that the one that's like they say the best for enlarging, basically? I know Analog Adventure says, so annoying that the 6x7 rangefinders have so long minimal focus distances. I guess that's the only object negative thing. Maybe not having other backs too compared to 6x7 SLRs. Well, the thing with that, Svein, is rangefinders usually don't have the closest focusing because you get into a problem with parallax. So when you're focusing, I wish you guys could see this. Let's see if I can kind of make it look. Let's see. Are you guys looking through the frame lines? There's a humongous lag. Let me see if it works. Okay, you kind of can see it. So the frame lines will move when I move. Okay, you probably see a small shift if you even see anything. So those frame lines will correct parallax. What it means is when you're focusing at something that's far away, the parallax will go a little further. And when you're focusing on something a little closer, it'll come closer. But there's a problem with it being not through the lens. So the triangle you have from where you're looking through to where the actual film is going to get exposed will have a problem with focusing. So you can't focus really up close without having a really big problem with not only parallax, but focus, maybe a little shift. So that's why they don't focus so close. If you want an rangefinder camera that can change backs, you can go for the Kony Omega, which is a really strange camera that looks like you could use to hammer like huge nails with. Layton says, also see rolling shutter on video. That's also a good way to see it. I just remember that White Looks does that little slow pace. JKL, can you recommend a medium format camera, not point and shoot or box for Max 300? For Max 300, I would say 645 is probably the best option. You can go for the Bronica ETRS. You can go for Mamiya 645s. You can go for Yashica TLRs. You can go for some Bronicas 6x6, the S2 or S2A. Those are the ones you can find. Being in Europe, check MK Optics, MK as in kilos, optics.com. They're in the Netherlands, and they have really good prices. You probably can find a Bronica S2A for like 250 euros. So yeah. Ooh, sorry, Joseph, down a bit. Is my volume too high? Oh, you're saying the camera. Sorry, guys. It's not very easy to show. I'll try to record that on a proper camera. House says my Vivitar enlarging lens is weird. Even stopped down to f16 as far as I can go down to with filter 3. 10 seconds exposing time is a little bit too much. Can we even use ND filter for enlarging? Yes, how? You can use ND filters for enlarging. If you have the option, also if you're using a color enlarger, you can dial in the same amount of filtration, like on top of your normal filtration to make it darker. So for example, if you're using 0, 70, 140, you can do 30 plus on each one and go 30, 100, 170, and that will dim the image a bit and keep the same contrast. TV Photo says most Mamiya 645 are obtainable for 300 euros. That's exactly the kind of cameras that are good. The Mamiya 645 Super says Analog Adventure and Pro TL are rising in price. Not easy to find a kit for under 500 these days. It's not long since I bought my for 380. TV Photo says, thought the other day I saw someone on a site called Blocket selling 2 RB67s with lenses, backs, and chimney viewfinders for $250. Wow, I would get that. A great deal. And now I'm here checking Swedish. Is it Swedish? Can't even read. Sorry, guys. But yeah, if you go to mkoptics.net and you go to their actual stock, let me see, other medium format cameras. You've got Bronica ECTL with a Zenza Non 150 for 300 euros. You got Bronica ECTL boxed with a 50 for 300. You have another Bronica ETR with a 75 2.8 for 250 euros. This is all euros. Sorry, guys, that are not in the Euro land. But yeah, you can find that there. Let me see. Go back to the stream. Let me see. I'll try using split grade printing as well. Might find it removes the need for any speedy digging and burning. Hey, thanks for that super message, or what do they call this? Super chat, Azrael. Do you have any darkroom construction tips? Something you didn't anticipate? Wait a sec, Azrael. You're exactly on the moment. Sorry. I've been organizing stuff to take to the darkroom. So, Azrael, I'll answer exactly what you're asking. But I have this book called Build Your Own Home Darkroom. I bought a B&H new, which is a step-by-step, very homey and doing your own stuff. It's a horizontal layout, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But it's a pretty nice book. If you need any help with it or you don't want to buy it, you can ask me for a special chapter, and I can happily tell you about it and share information. It has very nice drawings. Then you have Into Your Darkroom Step by Step, also kind of the same deal. Instead of, oops, sorry, the other way around. Tells you all about darkroom and how, well, this is more about how to use your darkroom. Whoops, that book went on the floor. Kodak Guide, Building a Home Darkroom. Okay, this is very interesting. These are probably found on Amazon for like $1 each, because nobody wants to buy this kind of stuff nowadays except for us. But this is pretty good. And answering exactly what you were asking, do you have any darkroom construction tips? Something you didn't anticipate? The first thing and the biggest problem I've found with the darkroom is make it bigger. And by this, I mean, I made my darkroom, and I'm going to talk in meters because that's what we use here, 3 meters wide and 5 meters long. It's around 2.4 meters tall. And I feel I could have made it twice the space and still being okay with space. I have a lot of stuff in my darkroom. I understand that my darkroom might be like a cluttery darkroom compared to others, but I kind of want to be able to do everything I want. So if you can, try to make it a little bigger. If you're wondering, oh, should I cut here? Should I make this wall a little longer, a little higher? Go for it. Make it bigger. Second, I anticipated problems. Make all your electricity and water out of the wall. So if there's any leak, any problem with a fuse or cable that gets peeled or unattached, you can fix it easily. always water goes under, electricity goes over. So if there's ever a leak, the water won't go on the electrical. I built I arranged a dehumidifier because if not, everything will just get moldy. Here we've had the most rainy month of January in the last 65 years. So humidity is a big deal. What else? Light proofing. I mean, that's kind of like a given. You have to check for it. I did all the wood and then I sealed it all with like Sika, like that, you know, silicone thing, but a brown color, so it wouldn't leak. Think about the floor. You're going to be spilling chemicals on the floor, so make a floor you can wash easily. That won't be, you know, dusty and easy to clean. Ventilation, remember you got to make the vents light proof, so you got to make some kind of system where it can go up and down and up and down. I made like a box inside another box, so you know, like a light tight. And those are basically all my little tips and tricks. I made a humongous picture description and stuff on a forum I take care of in Spain. But if you go to my Flickr, which I think I posted them all open. So you can go to my Flickr, which there I am about photo stream. I'm Nicholas Yaceta, just my normal name. I'm not very fancy with that. Go there, you can see a ton of pictures of my darkroom. JKL, sorry, I'm super backlogged on answering. You need to look at all light tight. Yeah. Went for them, but someone was quicker. Okay, those are for the RB67. Spain, if I had the cash, I would buy medium format cameras now before the price gets too high. I would even snatch good deals in order to make money in a year or so. That's why the prices are going up. A lot of people are doing camera flipping, which is a little sad. House says, Leighton, thanks. I'm just starting in printing. I will look into it. Ventilation light leaks. Yeah, I should try to see if I can make a drawing, but basically, yeah, what I did in my ventilation is I have a vent that takes the air out of the studio, and I have air, two extractors, bathroom extraction, like ventilators or whatever they're called, that are just taking the air out of the darkroom into the room. And these, what I did is I built a box with a little shutter that's low, and then another box on top with a little shutter that's high, so the light can't pass, and it works great. Also be aware of light bulbs. You want them to be as daylight or close to daylight as possible, and if they're not, you're going to have to judge your prints going outside into daylight or wherever they're going to be exposed on, you know, depending on the wall. If your house has tungsten lights or fluorescent lights or incandescent lights, you want to see your prints under those lights. So that's a good thing to do. Boom, boom, boom. Azrael says, I own that third one, the Kodak one. I think it's the best one of them all, Azrael. I would ship you these if it wasn't because we're across the other side of the world, because I'm not going to use them at this time. But yeah, there's all these real information that's pretty cool. Gustav Larsson says, how do you like the Hasselblad SWC? Have you used it with flash? Recently got an SWC and been wanting to try it with a flash. So Gustav, I loved my SWC. I did use it with flash. I sold it actually because at the time I thought I would never use it, and today is the day I miss it a lot. Probably would buy it again and never use it again because I tend to do that. I get like missing cameras, and then when I buy them, then I realize why I sold them. But I did use it with flash. I tried my take on Arimoto, I would say in Spanish. He's got probably the best quality zines for the price, and they're usually mostly shot on the SWC. So yeah, it was good. It was fun. You have to get really up close with a flash. You're gonna get people pretty upset. At least I did. My results were not as good for the few rolls I did with a flash, and I never went out with a flash again. But it's fun. It's really fun to use. Great little camera. Analog Adventure Azrael, don't know if this is a tip, but I bought 5 small whiteboards that I can hang over the bench. C41 recipe, E6, one to write dates with chemistry mix, 1 for how many prints on developer. Azrael says, I've made over my darkroom a few times using plastic sheeting, but this is the first time I'm constructing the walls and stuff. Yeah, this is the first time I make a proper one, and I wanted to make it as good as possible. Another thing, faucets are important. Have as many as you can. Water temperature, water pressure, and cleaning the water so there's no extra sediments and stuff for your prints and your film. But yeah, if I think of any others, I'll let you know. I'll write you on Instagram. Leighton says, my darkroom was a bathroom, so the walls are a wet wall. I can make a dry marker directly on them. Oh, yeah, I used to do that in my old darkroom, was all a bathroom, and there were tiles, so I could write on them. It was pretty cool. It was like a huge whiteboard. Leighton says, really, you should have a positive pressure in the room to stop sucking dust in. Remember what the inside of your PC looks like, but I could not do it easily. If I had to have positive pressure, I don't know how I would do that. I would have to flip all the vents and push air. Interesting. I don't know. I think either way, it's probably full of dust. I just clean it a lot. House says, I just searched them on Amazon, used with the lowest price possible. You can buy the books Nico mentioned here. Leighton says, I would also like to take a small movable fume cupboard arrangement for selenium toner, extra smelly chemicals. Yeah, what I do with selenium is I get out of the darkroom. What a friend told me once, and he does, and I'm going to start doing when I start with selenium again, is he will do all the process of the paper, dry it, and then when he's got a bunch of final prints, he will do selenium toning in one day. So he'll go outside. So I can go out in my studio, kind of like outside, and wash them or tone them in selenium, and that would help me keep the fumes down. Rashan Rao says, the painting at your bark is superb. Can I see it? There you go. I just did a video on that. Okay. I'll see if I can check. JKL, what are your experience with third-party lenses? Third-party lenses. I don't think I can consider myself to have ever used a third-party lens. When I shoot with medium format, they were always made by the brand that sold them, sold the cameras. So Hasselblad has Hasselblad, well, Zeiss Hasselblad lenses. There was never anyone else making lenses for them, at least that I know of. On 35, I've always kind of kept the same system. So Nikon with Nikon, Canon with Canon, Pentax with Pentax. I think the only thing I've used that's not been first brand has been a Voigtlander lens on a Leica, and I started off with a Leica M2 the first time I had one, and Voigtlander color scope R, Voigtlander color scope R 35 2.5, and it was a great lens. So I can't say it's I had any bad experience with that. Apart from that, large format, I think every single lens is third party because there's no real. Yeah, I guess there was CNR lenses and Linhof lenses, but they weren't really Linhof or CNR. They were just rebadged or relabeled. supposedly the quality control was a little bit better, but that's about it. So I can't say. Cynical frequency, slightly off topic. Are your children, wife interested in photography? I imagine it would be cool to share your hobby experience here with your family. My wife, I don't think, is very interested in photography. She supports everything I do, which is, I'm very lucky. I get a lot of time to do videos, to do my darkroom time and all this. We kind of like play around with, her time and my time to do my own thing. She does her own thing. My kids are still too young, I think, to be too into it. They're 6. Actually, my daughter turned 6 yesterday, so that's kind of why the news didn't happen. My youngest was 4.5, and it's funny because I'm starting some kind of video something with my eldest soon. I've gotten her a lab coat, lab glasses, and lab gloves to help me in the darkroom. And I wanted to start a little series with her every now and then to do some easy darkroom stuff with her. But no, so far they're not really interested in it. I'm not pushing it either. They do their thing, and I'm happy with it. And yeah, not much else. They do love posing. My eldest loves posing. My youngest is a nightmare to take a shot of. So most of my pictures around the house are my eldest, sadly. But yeah, that's about all I can say about that. How to make a smartphone into a DSLR? I don't know. Good question, but I can't answer that. Analog Adventure, I saw a YouTube video on selenium. He felt it in his teeth fillings. I regret buying a bath of selenium, LOL. We'll probably never use it. You just have to go out. Just go out in the terrace, into the garden, and just mix it there, and just don't be around, and that's good. Layton says, I have used Sigma in the past, and they were awful. I would never touch third party again. I threw them in the bin, but I have not used them in the last year. JKL says, what is your favorite 135 SLR? SLR. I don't have many SLRs, but so far, I would say my favorite was the Nikon F5. It was a beast, and I sold it. But it was probably the fastest focusing Nikon autofocus camera I've ever tested. And at that time, I had a digital camera with Nikon, and I had the option to test the D3 from Nikon, which is the digital best of the best when it was out. And the F5 just felt amazing. It was so fast, so good. Slides looked amazing on it. And one day I'll have one again, but not rushed for it. They're solid and heavy, and I'm not into that right now. But yeah, that would be my favorite if I have to say. SLR. I don't use SLRs nowadays with 35 or 135. Analog Adventure question. I have always washed my black and white film in running water for 10-12 minutes before photo flow and hanging. I heard it's recommended 30 minutes wash when not using washing aid. With aid, it's down to as low as 3-minute wash. I don't think I wash that long. I wash it for like 10 minutes in the Jowo, and then I use PhotoFlow, leave it for like a minute and a half, and then pull it out. I don't think you need that much. There's the Ilford. I'm looking down here. Ilford washing good enough. It says 5 dump, 10 dump, 15 dump, and 20 dump inversions. And it's worked for me too when I've done it like that. Leighton says, the problem with selenium toner is the ammonia that is the solution. There is a very little metal in it really, but exposure to heavy metals is cumulative. And as Rasha, sorry, I can't say that name, I'm not good at it, selenium is harmful to health, as Leighton says just above you. But yeah, Joseph, I think the Ilford is good enough for washing. I mean, I I tend to go in the over washing and a slightly over fixing just in case. But I always use a one go. So I fix one day and I dump after. And same with stop and developer. So I don't reuse my fixer, I don't know, for a week. I just use it for one day. I do a lot in one day because I only develop one day. I found I was a very big mess if I developed and printed at the same day, even if it wasn't at the same time, because my head would be set for negatives and not positives, and I would just end up screwing something. So after a few painful and expensive mistakes on multigrade fiber-based paper, I decided to just keep it to developing one day every now and then and printing as much as I could. JKL Layton is saying Canon EOS 1V if you are looking for an out-of-focus SLR. It kicks ass and can use modern L glass, but my Leica R9 is incredible. Yeah, I've always liked the R9. I kind of like the shape of it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it looks pretty. JKL Layton, do you have the digital back for the R8? Layton says you must use neutral gloves and don't drink it. So yeah, no drinking selenium. An analog adventure. It was the woman on FPP that said on a podcast I heard, she is pretty experienced. I have never seen anything on my negatives, but I only shot for 2 years, so wondering about long-term issues. Joseph says she's a super stickler though. Well, my negatives that have been developed for 18 years are still looking okay, and I did it when I had no clue about fixing, no clue about developing, and they're fine. So I think we should be fine. I'm sure there's books on the matter of developing and fixing properly and washing properly. But I think the way I've done it so far has been fine with me. Since I came back to film, I've shot for the last around almost 10 years, and none of my negatives have any issues or slides or C41 negatives. JKL says, Layton, no, my only digital camera is a Canon EOS 40D from about 2009. Rashak, which is the best site so I can buy the best camera and microscope? No idea about microscopes or cameras, and the best camera is a big statement. Best for what? Best for you? Best for me? My best camera is a Mamiya RZ67. For that, I would say go to KEH or some in Europe, Camera Ventures, for example. Karmatik, hola Nico. Hola Karmatik. Sorry, I almost forgot the live cast. Yeah, I also screwed up the live cast and I'm on 38 when I should be in 37. But I'll fix it on post. I'll just change the title and make the new event. Layton says, I also bought a 6D Mark II, but I am saying it's my wife's. JKL, I think to buy the D750, blah, blah, digital. Karmatik, who are the photographers you get inspiration from? That's a good question, because for the next few things I want to do, project-wise and photography-wise, and this is something that Analog asked me to see if I could cover, is from the moment I get an idea to the moment of I start working on it, how do I process all that information? And that kind of series will start soon. So I try to look for photographers that shoot stuff that I want to shoot or similar. Some of my favorites in terms of, for example, portraiture, it's been Avedon. I really like Nicholas Nixon. I really also like his architecture. So we hit the same in both. Stephen Shore, I like his approach to urban, basically my biggest book as a reference of the kind of photography that really inspired me and really moves me is New Topographics. And this was something arranged by Kodak back in the day. I think it was Kodak or Rochester's, I don't know, something there, Kodak. I got the book somewhere. And that was huge. I just got a book for architecture. Like I was saying, I'm going to try to get back into it. Julius Schulman shot architecture, and I have a book of his here. And there's a book coming from Norman McGrath, which is shooting buildings in and out or something like that. So for now, that. When I shoot 35, I really enjoy, well, I shoot my kids a lot. And for that, Sally Mann was a huge inspiration. I wish I could move an 8x10 as fast as she can seems to be moving it. But yeah, that would be kind of sort of a bit of some of the people I really like. Then I have a book called American Power. Forgot the title, the author right now, which I really enjoy. I'm not a big street photography guy, so I've never been huge into the whole Henrique Bresson and all that. Don't know why. I just, it's not my style. I do like it when I see it. Winogrand is one of those in the street photography, which I really enjoy. I saw an exhibit of his and it was amazing. And they have the, I think it's The Women Are Beautiful, if I'm not wrong, in Miami. They have 40 prints there, original prints, and it's pretty amazing. Elliot Erwitt too. But yeah, I'm not so good on names and photographers. Let's see. Analog Adventure, sorry for all the questions, but I haven't had the time to think for a few weeks. Do you know what's the newest developer is? And when did it come to market? Well, the newest developer, I mean, that's hard to say. There's a few new ones. Berger came out with a new one not long ago. New 55, which is now put down, is coming back for now as Famous Format, and they just came out with a developer, which is a monobath. Then, I mean, from Kodak, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Probably Extol was the last one they came out with. Ilford, I'm not sure. Adox and others are coming out with stuff every now and then. But yeah, not sure which is the newest like that. B&H sells microscopes. That's Two Stones. B&H, I think, sells everything. Layton says, Nico is 100% correct on his methods. It's easy to have an obsession about method, but you don't need to. If it looks good, it is good. Thanks, Layton. That makes me a bit more calm now, because I never know if I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, I try to wash as much as possible, but I don't go too much. I think I do 10 minutes on the Jobo, and the Jobo changes water every 30 seconds. So that's like 20 water changes. TV photo, really enjoyed third-party lenses on 135 film and digital. Sometimes old M42 lenses can make really interesting results. Yeah, this is something that I found to be true, especially on certain subjects in film. You can find lenses that don't work as well, but will give you a bit more. For that, the Jupiter lenses have that quality that is kind of like a defect almost. When you're shooting black and white, very high contrast scenes and, pushing your film, maybe you want that effect. I mean, I like sometimes testing different things like that. But yeah, I just can't say third-party lenses that I've used. House says, I just ordered the Rediscover Modernism of Julius Schulman and trying to find Ezra Stoller's books. I think we're both in the same. I was looking through. Just to make a point, yesterday, if you go to the Large Format Photography Forum, has basically, I mean, I love that forum. I've learned so much from it. But it has also the users there can be, let's say, to put it mildly, you got to be careful. Sometimes they're very knowledgeable, but sometimes are a bit too, I feel, the older in user base. But if you go to the .info, don't go to the forum part, there's a ton of articles. And in those articles, there's a books, workshops, there's all kind of stuff. You go to books, and there's books for instructional books, and you have general books about large format, and you have ones for architecture here. So you go to architecture, and I'm gonna click and copy this, even though I know this won't be there after the live stream's done. But there's a list of books for architecture that actually is pretty cool. And you've got Julius Schulman, Norman McGrath, which is the one I bought yesterday. I got it for £7, so that was a pretty good deal for me. Modern Architecture from Ezra Stoller, as I want to get, but I haven't been able to. Places of Power, John Sexton, Andreas Gursky, which is, I think, one of his first. This book is catalog of his 2002 retrospective New York's MoMA. Is the best overview of his work. But yeah, these books were not so cheap, so I didn't buy them. But yeah, that's where I got my books, at least. My big inspiration these days is Michael Kenna. I think it would be shocking to tag along on him with a trip. We see the end result, but I'm guessing it's really hard work and hundreds of hours in snow. Well, Michael Kenna is I really like his stuff. I think it's been a bit overdone by others, or maybe himself even. But there's a bunch of videos on YouTube and stuff where you can watch him shooting, and it's pretty amazing, I have to say. Leighton says, sorry to mention another YouTube guy. Hey, there's no sorry to say another YouTube. You guys can mention any other YouTube guys. I actually really enjoy seeing other people. But yeah, I did watch Nick's Exposed did a video about buying books. I did watch it. He gave a few of his places where he buys books. And I have to check the books I want over there. But so far, I've gotten one. That's going to be enough for now. I have 2 architecture books that I want to go through a little bit more and move on from that. I don't like buying too many because then I receive them all and I never look at them. But yeah, no worries on mentioning any other YouTubers, I guess, would say. I actually really enjoy the community, and I think it's necessary that we all know each other. Analog Adventure says, anyone tried the Harman Kone 4x5 pinhole camera? Saw a video on YouTube of a guy using it, and man, those images were sharp compared to other pinholes. So many things I want to buy and zero money. I have one just there. I bought it a long time ago, used it on a kind of spree color shooting. And man, I developed those sheets of film. It was 4x5 color film. And I was so used to focusing my shots and composing my shots, it almost felt like I was throwing my money away. And I put the camera on my desk, and it's been there for probably the last 6 years. So I'm not the best example of a user, but I have to say I like seeing what I'm shooting. How much did I pay? I can't remember, but probably like 120 euros for the whole kit. It came with a box and everything. It came with a positive paper, the negative film, and such. And I'm still meant to use it again and see if I can do more minimal landscapes and stuff like that, which I think is where Pinhole really shines. Oh, how much for selling? I'm not selling. I'm done with selling. I'll sell you other things, but not cameras, at least not my secondhand ones. But yeah, guys, it's 10 o'clock. Sorry, but I had a great time today. Thanks for joining me again. Sorry for the mistake of doing the live stream 38 before the 37. I'll fix that after. And yeah, see you next week, and good night. Thanks again, and see you.